What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of the Sheehan Show with me, Sean Sheehan, here on Sherdog.com. I'm absolutely delighted to be joined today by the pride of Pomona High School, Archie Colgan, before his big fight with JJ Wilson at PFL Dubai here on October 3rd. Archie, how are you today? How are things?
I'm doing good. How about yourself, man?
Good. No, I can't complain. I'm over here in Ireland and we've good weather for once, so I can't complain. I can't complain too much. Come on, I wanted to ask you about your transition over to MMA, because I'm always fascinated by people who have a really good sports or martial arts background and go into MMA. What was the decision like back when you did that? Was it always a thing you thought about, or was it something after you had success in wrestling that you decided to go into?
Kind of a little bit of both, honestly, because I grew up as a kid and was a big fan of the sport, but I never actually thought I was gonna be like an MMA fighter. And then I went off to college, graduated from college. Still didn't have any ambitions to be a fighter. And then I ran into the right people and we just started training just a little bit. And then I just got hooked and just took off and ran with it.
How big is that, running into the right people? Who are those people? Was that kind of a big reason why you think you've become so successful so quickly?
Yeah, for sure. Who I ran into was Justin Salas, who is my head coach right now, and then Luke Cadillo, who is one of Justin Gaethje's coaches, and then my coach Justin Salas was trained under Trevor Whitman, and then I just kind of meshed in with all those guys, and it was just, I mean, you couldn't really ask for a better way for it to play out.
Looking at your Instagram, your social media, it seems like Kamaru Usman has been a big factor in your career and almost something that you've modeled yourself on. Is that true? And how big has he been for you in your career?
Yeah, he's been massive for my career. There's another person, he was one of my favorite fighters, and then out of nowhere, he came to Denver and started training with us. And then, your favorite fighter became a training partner overnight like that. And I was like, wow, a guy that I admire from an African background, a wrestling background, and now world champion is my training partner. And then, he just kind of took me in as big bro, little bro situation where, sometimes when I go out to Florida and train, I just stay in his house. When he's out here, he's mentoring me and helping me. And anytime I have some sort of situation where I'm not for sure on what I should do, I just give him a quick call. He walks me through it on how he thinks, I should operate about it. He's just been a big mentor for me. And he's really helped me grow in this game and, see things from a different avenue that, one day I will see when I'm champion, but he wants me to see it from, a younger eyes so I can navigate through it early.
We always hear about young sports people having, see it so I can do it. Is Usman one of those people for you, I suppose? As you said, similar background coming through the wrestling and everything like that, that I see that he could do it and now I can actually go and do the same thing.
For sure. Yeah. Obviously he was a good wrestler like myself. But to reach the level that he's reached in fighting, it's not about the wrestling base. It's about a mindset and a discipline that has to match with that. So to learn those things from the best very early on has really laid the blueprint of how my work rate and how my discipline has to be at that level, to be able to hold those accolades and to say, make that kind of money and to be that kind of athlete.
Is it good as well then to have someone, as you mentioned, like Justin Gaethje, I suppose, on the other side of it, a very completely maybe different approach to Kamaru Usman. I spoke to Eric Nixick a few weeks ago, and he has, the difference between maybe Francis Ngannou and Sean Strickland is stark in how you approach it, but he told me it makes him a better coach. Is that something that makes you a better fighter, having different sorts of people to look at and go, he reached success in one way, he reached success in another way, and give me a bit of both and I'll reach success in my way?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I met Justin before my first amateur fight even. He came in, he didn't really know who I was, but my coach asked him, hey, can you come in and just do a sparring session with this guy? So he came in and just me, him, and my coach and sparred me. Obviously took good care of me, but gave me, good work. He's been a big mentor in my game too. He's another guy that when a situation arises and I don't really know, which path to take or which direction makes the most sense, I give him a call too, and he helps me like walk through and see it. And he obviously has a different. He's a wild man. He fights wild. He's him. He is the highlight, and that's like through and through. Not just like him as a fighter. Like when you be around him, just his aura as a person is like, man, he's always trying to do something that's like everybody wants to be like right in this area, and he's always trying to do like right out here. He's always trying to do something that's just like, whoa, damn, this guy's crazy. So to like have that also in your back pocket is like, I think it's rewarding and it's very good too.
I spoke to Sean Madden yesterday, the coach, and I know you've worked with him in the past too. And I asked him, is there anything that you'd ask Archie? If I told him I was talking to you, and he said two things really stuck out: that he's a family man and an unbelievably good fighter, adding new things to his game. So let's touch on both of those things first, and that's a nice thing for someone to say about you. Well, as a family man, how important is mixed martial arts for you, and what part does your family play, I suppose, in the success that you're trying to achieve?
When I first started the game, my wife, fiance then, wife now, and it was just the two of us, and then it's like really kind of selfish. It's still really selfish, but like. Then it's really just about the greatness that I'm trying to achieve for myself. Then, shortly after we had, 2 kids, and like things change. And ultimately, like when people say I do it for my kids, to me, I don't like, there's plenty of things that I could do, to provide and to do that for my kids. Like, there is a sense of pride that comes with training very hard to provide for my kids. But like at the end of the day, it's still very selfishly for me to become world champion. Like there's things in that like I want to explain to my kids, like, hey, look, through hard work, through discipline, through sacrifice, like these things are going to happen, can happen for you if you stay the path that I'm, trying to explain. But also like, I'm selfishly chasing world championship for myself. Like, it's going to provide for my family. It's going to do that for everybody else. But it is like a thing that, is a me thing. But my kids and my wife, like I definitely couldn't do it without my wife. My wife is a rock star, man. She is, I think that if I had a different wife, though, I would have been done after the one kid, because like she carries so much of the kid weight, and then like I'm able to obviously be a great dad and stuff, but I wouldn't be as great of a dad if I didn't have such a great wife.
Funny enough, I was actually interviewing someone earlier today, and they were telling me about that. Like when you have your first kid or any kid, you're getting woken up 10 times a night, and it really affects you, and it's really hard to train. How, as a fighter who's gone through that, how tough is that to actually, have a child and be a fighter at the same time?
Yeah, so like on my first kid, my wife was working. She was a respiratory therapist in the medical field, and she would work the night shift, and then I would train during the day. So like she would be with him all day, and then she would leave to go to work night shift, and then I'd be with him all night. Wake up. I don't know. It's like for a while, it's like every 2 hours you got to wake up with him, and then sometimes they just cry and wake up randomly. So you're up like 6-8 times in the night. And then she gets home at like 7, and then I'm leaving at like 7:30. It was rough, but like, I don't know, through sacrifice and discipline, again, like great things come. We have a great kid. We have a good relationship. And like, it's worth having to me. Like that was hard, but it's like worth having. Like we have great kids, and you don't know how hard something is until you do it. And now I know exactly how hard that was. And could be, now my wife's a stay-at-home mother, so it's a little bit different. But at the end of the day, like it's all really the same. Like you still have a lot of work to do to be a good parent. Like you have to work at it every single day. But it's like the best gift ever, also.
100%. And then the other side of it, adding new parts to your game. Like one thing, and I'll throw this in with another question I was going to ask you. I watched back your Mansar Barnawi fight, and one of my favorite parts of that fight was the like the elongated clinch that the two of you had, where you were both just throwing at each other. I was like, this is one of the most, I like the clinch for me has been ruined in MMA. It's gone so boring, but that was so exciting and exactly what the clinch should be. Was that part of one of the things that you added to your game for that camp? And again, is there something you're adding at the moment to your game?
Yeah, for sure. We worked a lot of like the clinch stuff for that camp because he likes to go to that, that Thai clinch. So actually, there's some things that I worked with Sean Madden actually in that. I don't know if he said that or not.
He didn't actually, but that's good. No, I came up with that one myself, but yeah.
Yeah. Him and Cosmo Alessandre, we worked a lot in that position and like learned a lot of different things. That was a fun position to be in because he landed a knee up the middle, and then I was like trying to fight out, and I was like, oh, whatever, I'm just gonna fight. I just started like going over the top. And yeah, obviously there's always things that I'm trying to add to my game. I'm a wrestler, really good wrestler with a good boxing base. So I'm just trying to like add more things, kicks and knees and elbows and stuff, little by little off the base that we've already built.
Obviously, that was a great win for your career, considering obviously how young you still are in your career. And like Mansur Barnaoui, obviously I'm over here in Europe and been covering him for a long time. He's, a really experienced guy and a great win to have on your record. But it was also supposed to be the number one contender fight and obviously didn't end up being that. And now you have another fight coming up and it's on the same weekend as the title fight. And then there's also a champion in Alfie Davis at the moment. Did it kill it, that win, a little bit? Was it a bit more disappointing after that win, even though it was such an amazing win?
Yeah, once I officially got the news that I will not be fighting for the belt, because that was like for like probably a month or so after the fight, that was what is expected. And then once I officially got the news that I will not be fighting for the belt, there's just a lot of frustration with it. But yeah, it sucked, but like, I think, the other option, like people are trying to say, like, you should just sit and wait. You should just wait. And I'm like, fortune favors the bold. Like, I'm not going to sit around and wait on somebody's demise or somebody else's, fortune. Like, I'm going to go create my own. So if the next best thing is to go out there on the same card and go show out and then be able to come out there and call your shot again. So I got another opportunity to go out there and show why I'm undeniable. So I'm going to go do it.
Let's talk about that fight. Obviously, JJ Wilson, a guy very, similar, 12 fights, the same as you. Obviously, you're 12-0, he's 11-1, a very, very good record. And he's only lost to Rabadanov, I believe, obviously, who was basically the best lightweight in the company for a while there. What do you think of him as an opponent? Do you think it's a step up for Barnaoui? Do you think he's close to your level? Do you think it'll be a tough fight? What do you think of him overall?
Yeah, I think he's very dangerous. I think he brings a lot of, skills to the table. I think the Barnaoui fight, they were kind of back and forth on their feet. And then really it was like back and forth in the grappling exchanges. So it was like a really close contested fight. And like, I think he just jumped more submissions. He attacked more submissions than Barnaoui, which kind of gave him the nod. Because otherwise, like on the feet, they're pretty even. And then on the ground, they're like, sweeping each other and both trying to attack submissions. There was a lot of grappling in that fight. I think he's coming off a couple of good wins. So yeah, we'll call it a step up. Like he's definitely my next. I call him my hardest fight because he's my next fight. So without the win over here, like none of the other things that I want in life are to happen. In my career, like to go be champion. Get my title shot. I have to go get this win. So yeah, he's the most dangerous, hardest fight for me at the moment.
We see a lot of wrestling in his fights, and he likes to take guys down. He's a very, very good wrestler. Obviously, coming from New Zealand, and I would assume a rugby background, a lot of that is there's plenty of grappling in that. How do you think his wrestling lines up against your wrestling?
I don't think our wrestling. I think our wrestling levels are different, very different. But that doesn't mean like I definitely have to go mind myself and make sure I'm in a good position because in the wrestling in an MMA fight, it's a little different. Like when you're standing tall and you get caught out of balance, the better wrestler doesn't always get the takedown. Doesn't always have to like not get the takedown, I should say. So like when it comes to wrestling levels, it's not even close. But yeah, I got to mind my P's and Q's to make sure that I'm in a good position. So when he does shoot, like I counter off of it very well and I defend very well.
I really appreciate your time. I just have 3 more questions for you. I want to get 3 predictions. First of all, what's your prediction for this fight? How do you think it'll go? What way do you think you'll get the win?
Man, I don't really know. Like, I think that he's very dangerous and comes forward. So, like, I can definitely see him running into my power because he likes to throw big power and getting the finish there. I can also see, me taking him down and then ground and pounding him, opening him up and getting the finish there. If he plays a little bit more conservative, then maybe, I don't know, maybe then it's just, decision route. But probably, I think a ground and pound win is my prediction.
Second prediction, what's your prediction for Usman versus Hughes?
I think Usman wins. Yeah. I think that it'll be a very anticipated fight. It'll have some good flurries in it, but I think ultimately Usman would win.
You're hurting me as an Irishman here, I must say. But so the third prediction, we'll have yourself, Usman, and Alfie Davis as the 3 guys. What's the prediction for the fight that happens after that? What do you think the next fight will be?
Well, I mean, like, I already got the short end of the stick here. Like, already one time, they call me number 1 contender, and then all of a sudden they're doing Paul Hughes. So I would imagine that it's got to be me because, like, okay, let's look at. In October, we fight. 1 year ago, Alfie Davis got battered and finished by Mansour Barnaoui in last November. And then, less than, and what I do to Mansour just happened. Like, it was a very good fight. He landed good shots. But ultimately, it was pretty dominant and one-sided. And then he wins the tournament. So you're going to go tell me that he's the next best guy after he had just got beat up and finished by the guy that I just dominated. Like, you're clearly not the next best guy in line. Now, because he's the tournament champion, maybe they have some claim for that. But if we're talking about the best guy, well, come on.
Looking forward to the fight. Archie, best of luck. Actually, one last thing. I'm talking to JJ tomorrow. Have you any words for JJ? Anything you want to say to him?
I'll see you soon.
I love it. Archie, thank you very much. Best of luck.
Yeah. Hey, real quick.
Go on.
I was last October, I went up to Ireland. I was one of my cousins, he got married up there. So we went to Dublin and we're there for like 3 days, and then we drove north through Belfast to Dunluce. There's a castle up there.
Oh, there's a lot of castles in Ireland.
So maybe it's
Belmullet? Bell, I don't know. Was it in the north of Ireland?
It's up there right by where the hollows are from that Game of Thrones movie.
Oh, yeah.
Right outside of that town. Right outside of there's like 15-minute drive.
Okay, yeah. See,
by Bush Mills and stuff.
Yeah. I'm the opposite side of Ireland, so I'm like a 5-hour drive away from there. So I would know that part of it. That's where Paul Hughes is from. He's from around there.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. No, it was a cool drive though. It was cool. I'd never been out there. It was it was beautiful out there.
You'll have to come back again and come down around this side, the west of Ireland, the south of Ireland. Actually, is Colgan an Irish name? Have you any Irish in
Yes, it is.
There you go.
Yes, it is. So my dad is a white guy. He's Irish. My mom is Ghanaian. My dad is American, but family descent. Long ago, that name comes from there. So actually, when I went out there, I met a guy who's been a follower of mine and a fan of mine, and his last name is Colgan. So when I went up there, he came up and met me and got to shake hands and meet this guy, and it was cool. I think the like Colgan name is like a Northern Ireland thing.
Could be,
I think is what they said.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I just realized I've been pronouncing your name the Irish way the whole time. My apologies over that. We always have different pronunciations over here. But
how's it pronounced?
I would say Colgan.
Okay, Colgan.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, but we here in Ireland, we're really bad for if someone has an Irish name, we would claim them like Sean O'Malley, Sean Brady, like they're all Irish to us. So, you win that title, we'll be claiming you as Irish too. You better believe that. You better believe that.
Let's go. Okay, cool.
Archie, thanks very much for the time. I really appreciate it. And best of luck in the fight.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man. Have a good day.